Hands for me back and I'm down.
Well, if you go for a party this weekend and that song is not on the DJ's playlist, walk out over Karakase. It's plain and simple because we have the King herself in studio. Maybe she'll give us an a cappella later on. Good morning, King, and you're most welcome to Morning at NTV.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, we're excited to also hear from you, especially in light of things that happened recently. Going toe-to-toe, we finally have a ladies' fight in the ring as far as music is concerned. But we're also joined by Joshua Baraka. He did a song Nana, which is very unique to the sound of Uganda, by the way, and so big ups to you. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. And of course the usual suspect, Mr. Kagwa Andrew, also here. He's always here analyzing your music and your work, and so he's not going to be talking behind your backs today. He's going to be talking in front of your back today.
Feels like you're setting me up.
Oh well, my name is Priscilla Regina Naloga. We're going to be talking about the evolution that we're seeing in the music industry and the transformation that we are experiencing for us here in Uganda. Back in the day, the one sound that would be resonant to all Ugandans was Lingala. And then came the Tanzanian vibe, then came the Kenyan vibe into Ugandan music, until our very own Ugandans decided to take the music back into their hands. Before that, the closest we had in relation to Ugandan music was the traditional songs, the folk songs, you know, and I guess maybe we blame that on the fact that we have a diverse groups that we have in the country, diverse cultures and diverse tribes that all stand out when it comes to music, dance and drama. But picking it up from those practices over the course of time, especially in the 21st century, we have seen Ugandan best artists actually making sure that the sound of Congo fades out, the sound of Tanzania fades out, the sound of Kenya fades out. Now we only hear it in the name of collabos, quote unquote. And so we want to pick up this conversation by having a reflection of the evolution of music in the country, starting with one that has been in the industry for quite some decades. King Cindy, what is your reflection on the evolution of the music industry? When you came in, what inspired you to actually come into this industry?
I think passion was the first thing. When I came in, music was not so commercial at that time. There were some people making money, but it wasn't about the money. It was mostly about talent and about just passion, putting a message out there, and that is what inspired me to come out. I've always wanted to sing since I was maybe 7. You know, I started writing little stupid songs when I was a child, so I wanted to be on stage and sing. So that's how I started. But so much has happened. Oh my God, where was hip-hop when I started?
And that's what, because you know, how did you make sure that you not just break even, but you stand your ground with the genre that you started out with, amidst those different genres that had more sound and more popularity at the time?
Yeah, when I came in, there was a lot of Afrobeat. Afrobeat was everywhere, but I needed a niche for me. There was no artist who looked like me or who was my age or anything. There was really little to look at, like this is the map that I should follow. So I needed to find my own voice, and I found that with dancehall music. The first time I listened to myself, I remember I was in studio and I listened, they played back to me. I was like, this is what I want to sound like forever, you know, because before that we all wanted to be Juliana, you know, and sing the ballads and all that. But after I had the power I wanted, the attitude I wanted, I said, now I'm going to go dancehall. And at that time it wasn't so popular, but I knew that if I work hard at it, I will get it somewhere. And I knew that's my own lane, because I've always known I'm not going to be as graceful as the artists who were there, and I knew I'm kind of different. I'm tougher, I'm more like a tomboy and all that, and that just couldn't match with the niche which was there. So I had to pick something that I can work at and perfect, and just that's how I went to dance.
When it came to people that you'd have to work with at the time, they were also not producing that kind of music. The producers, you know, the promoters were not promoting that kind of music because it's not popular at the scene at that time. So how did you navigate getting your music out there and promotion?
I think the fact that I was very different, that's why I was needed at a show to add that a different look to everything, because everybody was going the direction of, like I said, the Julianas, Bobby Wine, Chameleon, the big artists who were there. So everybody was copying them. So I was like that new thing. I was like the Baraka now, you know. I was the new thing that, oh, that guy has a different sound. So let's add him to the show because he's different, not because he's big or anything, but because, you know, at those 10 minutes I have, it's something very different. And that is, and the way I dressed and everything about me was different. And that is how the promoters needed me, and I started to make money out of it.
Okay. Well, we do have Joshua Baraka here, who comes in at a different time of music, when there's now elements that have developed, especially in terms of promotion, the technology and the ICT that is centered around promotion of your music. When you've entered the music industry, how have these factors actually aided you in quickly becoming, you know, a talk in town?
I personally thank God that I was born in this era. I don't know if I would have handled music during Cindy's era. Because first and foremost, it's a very good time to be an artist globally and in Uganda, because of how easy it is to access everyone. Like if I have a song now, I have a WhatsApp group that has 300 people. 300 people are going to hear my song. But before, you had to get your CD and take it to 300 people.
That's true.
Do you know taking your CD to 300 people?
I know. I know.
So yeah, I feel like technology has really closed, narrowed the gap between us and the consumers of our music. And yeah, it's really nice. Even like globally, and borders don't exist anymore, at least digitally. They only exist physically, but digitally I can send my song to a promoter in Kenya, or a promoter in the UK, or like a random person in like Ireland or countries you can't pronounce, and they will listen to it, which is good, because before now, of course you can reach 300 people, but you can't go to Afghanistan. So I feel like it's a great time.
That's interesting. Kagwa, this leaves us in a Kogama state of that discussion that we've been having about the IP, the protection of music. So Cindy's music seems to have had more protection and guarding because of how it was transited from the consumer to the artist to the consumer. In this day and era with technology, if he has 300 people in his WhatsApp group, his music is going to be consumed, yes, but at zero cost and at zero benefit for him. So where does this, how do we merge the gap in terms of music, protecting the artist and their music so that they can benefit in turn?
You know, just to add something on what he has said, taking a CD to 300 it's very funny that the change, at least for Uganda, has technically happened literally between like 2019 to date, because I remember in 2016 to be specific, I was shopping around Kenneth Mugabe's music, trying to tell radio stations like, he's a good guy, play him, and most of them threw the CD in the dustbin. I think until he played a show which was famous, and then people started calling me, so did you live with the CD? And I actually left that CD with you. So a lot has happened in a very, very short time, and that's between literally in Uganda, it's been between 2019 and now, because Tidal, I think, came to Uganda in 2018. And then things started happening. But about IP, one, I know during Cindy's time when they were moving with CDs, at least you had the benefit of selling a lot of CDs. That's when Kasiu Killer existed, and he was quite a major source of income for many artists. Today, even major shops that were selling music in Kenya are closing. I think the last one closed at the beginning of this year. They've been distributing gospel music, and then they started recording it, but after some 2 very bad years, they decided to close shop altogether. But there are still opportunities, of course. Truth is, digital streaming does not make a lot of money the way people make it sound at times. Like
for all artists, it doesn't make money for all artists. Oh.
I cannot say for all artists, because digital streaming is very confusing. One, the people listening to you matter. Say, if most of the people that are listening to you are not paid subscribers, you might not make as much money as a person who has more listeners that actually subscribe, because the people that subscribe are paying for the music. The people that are not paid subscribers are not paying for the music. Then there are markets like US. If you have more listeners from the US, there are more chances of making more money than a person who has more listeners in Uganda, unfortunately.
Yeah. And talk about the time, how long it takes you. At a show, you might make, say, 15 million at one show. For digital streams to get to 15 million, you might have to wait 3 years. So you understand, you might make the same money, but the question,
like, how many shows are you going to do in order to keep that 15 million coming in?
But of course, when it comes to the IP and the digital era, there are more chances of actually making money. And at times, it takes the artist to look for these chances. One, very many people are looking for music to use in movies. And at the moment, productions are coming to Africa more than they used to do then. And these people are looking for original music to use in Africa. People are looking for original music to use when they are marketing products, because still more companies are coming to Africa than they used to do before. So there are those opportunities where someone can. And then there are streaming platforms that are actually paying better than, because I know when you look at how much people are getting from a platform like YouTube, it's crazy compared to what you get from Spotify, for example. Like the audio streaming platforms, I don't know how they do it. They're paying people way too bad.
Than the video. Okay. All right. Well, again, every challenge presents an opportunity that Joshua has to make sure his audio is complemented with a video instantly, of course, which comes at a cost. But turning to you, Cindy, you have been in the place where you've had to transition and adapt to the new waves that have come in terms of music promotion and tapping into the wider markets out there. What has been your experience of that transition and appreciation of it, and what challenges do artists like you face in embracing and merging the two?
Okay, I think I got the hang of it during the lockdown. Before that, I'd not really accepted the whole digitalization of our music, because I was used to the one-on-one kind of marketing, and it really affected me in a way. I took a while to join Twitter and all these people, and even now it's like an issue. You understand? I'm not like young people who keep like every 30 minutes like, look at me, I'm doing this, or look at me. I've not yet, I've not yet got, my mindset is still in the old days, where for me it's about physical, relationships, and to this moment it's hard for me to do, and I've been slower at it, but it was amazing that one I had to walk around to get 300 people, and suddenly I send a message and 300 people have my music in like 2 seconds. I'm like, but it's been a relief in a way. Yeah, it's in a way it's a relief, like, oh wow, I don't have to walk around, I don't have to do all this to get it. But also the other thing I was telling you about is about how long it will take you to make that money. It's money, it's there, but how long is it going to take you? Now I am used to distributing my music, and somebody gets it, and I know in 3 months that song is going to be somewhere on the top 10 or something, and I know after that my value is going to increase. I can kind of tell in 6 months I'm going to, you understand, my money, I can count it and know that at this point I'm going to be like this, and I know that but with digitalization you don't know. It's like so you just might really make it, or might really flop. So with the whole physical thing, it's easier to tell than this whole digitalization thing. But I have to admit, there's a lot of relief of I don't have to do so much right now. I can just upload and never know, and my music can go everywhere.
Okay, all right. Let's first go into a break. Okay, all right. They've given me permission to skip the break. You wanted to respond.
I was saying, I get what you're saying, but also you guys are talking as if you can't do the physical without the digital. Like you have to choose one. But I feel like it's good because now you can put your eggs in very many baskets.
Yes, true.
Making that WhatsApp group and you put your links there and guys stream your music shouldn't stop you from telling guys to buy your CD.
True.
Get what I mean? You can do all. You can perform, and you know the good thing with like streaming is that after every period, every time your music is like that, you'll get that money as long as your music is streamed. So it's not a bad thing to like just put it there, and it shouldn't stop you from doing your other things and all that. It's just another way of.
It's not a bad thing.
Getting.
It's not a bad thing at all. I was just trying to explain that people from my era are having yet. For us, it's like dragging to this world of yours, you know. Yes, it's a bit hard, but yes, you're right. That is a really big advantage, and it's extra money every time. Every time I check on my platforms, like after 3 months, I'm like, oh, there's some coming. You know?
But speaking of the other advantages that have come through these platforms, I believe that they've given all artists much exposure, you know, to global competition, to the extent that now in recent times we've had more recognition from international awards. We've had more recognition. Case in point, Kazo, Navio, yourself, you had nominations, you know, in regards to international awards and things like that. How has this actually helped build you as artists individually, but then also how can we build on these positions that it has exposed you to actually create more success for the Ugandan music industry? Let me start with you, Josh.
For me, I see this as us as artists, we remember sets in schools, like the sets. So if every artist is a set, sometimes we have funds in common, which is that thing in the middle. You know what I mean? But every time I interact with this set, I get a few guys who know about my thing. So I feel like awards and nominations are like if you go and you're going to vote and you see Joshua Brackett, you're going to vote your artist, but then you see Joshua Brackett, like, where is this person in the same category as my artist? They probably make the same music or something, then you check me out. It's a win for me.
True.
And then also when I go for the awards, I get to interact with all these other artists and interact with their sets, and probably I'll pick, if not their fans, I'll pick a little from their network and probably build from there. Because if for example I'm at Afrima, I'll get a chance to interact with very many guys who have broken out globally. So the thing about breaking out, it's not really like as organic as it seems. I feel like it's more of like the network you have. And
your network.
So you get a chance to pick from that network and make some of those people at least your own and add them to your set, which will also help you as a person progress in this
Cindy,
industry.
how can we use these opportunities to actually build on taking this industry forward?
Which opportunities?
The nominations and the awards that have come to various artists globally.
I think there's a question I would still ask myself, because when he was talking about it, I thought about when is that going to benefit the industry and not a person? Like if Joshua gets nominated, he gets to know this person, has a collaboration, gets funds for himself. So I'm thinking, when will that be a point that is going to help the industry? Or maybe he gets BN to come here and give us a master class, you know, stuff like that. I think it's an avenue we should think about. But right now it's giving us recognition for sure. That at first we only had Kenzo going everywhere. Now we have other people, like we have you, we have Navio, we have me. I've won an Afrima award. You know, it's you know, more people are getting out there, and that's a good thing.
Andrew, in regards to this, are there any other identifiable opportunities the music industry could tap into?
Okay, with the awards it's tricky, because most of the times the awards come to a person. Besides the film industry, where the international award is actually to a country, with music is to a person, but when it comes to recognition and the different things that have been coming up, for example, Navi and GNL being members of the academy, those are things that can actually help the industry in general. And yeah, that's when I look at you and I'm like, we need to be very deliberate about having members on the academy. It's what Nigeria has been very deliberate about, because the more bodies you have in there, the more chances of actually getting a Ugandan nominated. Because most of these are voting members. They can vote someone to get a nomination.
Yes.
So Nigeria has been very, very deliberate about it. Ghana is now deliberate about it. Like, it's like every year they get a new person.
Kenya too.
Kenya as well. So we need to be very deliberate, and that's why I say I look at you, because you're the president of
Speaking of which, the president,
so like, I think these are things
let's first engage that point there that you pointed at. As a leader in this music fraternity, in regards to engagements, of course you are soliciting for support and a way of building the industry from left, right and center, but I think government ought to be central in what you're trying to build with the industry. So let's talk about government support towards the industry, and how is government embracing the industry's needs?
I have to say that the government is getting more and more open towards the industry, and actually really interested in the industry right now. When I became president 2 years ago, before that I was vice for 1 year, there were not so many people who are willing to open doors for us. We have made a very bad reputation in the last maybe 10 years or so. In fact, always I've thought that artists are people who are drunk all the time, or they're going to come here and make noise, and there's never sense coming out of them. So we have managed to change that narrative. Then now doors are open to us all the time, and we can get in the parliament and speak and stuff like that. So things we've been able to do is like, well, we are amending the copyright law. It was passed, but we are amending it because it had some really things in there were not working for everyone. I think the copyright law was made to suit every country in the world, and yet Uganda is unique. Our needs are really unique, because if we said, for example, the pirates on the street are not allowed at all to sell your music, how is your music going to go around Uganda? You understand? So we have to find a way in the middle that you work with him, because he distributes better than the artist. So how do we find a way to work together so that we are both happy, that he gets his money and does my promotion, and I also get my cut out of it? So right now what we're doing is just amending it and seeing those small things. How does it work for the publisher, for the artist, for the promoter, for everybody? And that is what we're working on, and it's going on really, really amazing. We are trying to get our industry is stuck in so many ministries right now: Ministry of Justice, of Gender, of Ethics and Integrity and stuff. So we're trying to bring everything into Ministry of Gender, so that we have a direction somewhere where we go. During the lockdown, we were everywhere looking for lobbying for funds for artists to help them go through the lockdown like everybody else, but we realized that we had to go like in 5 ministries, because nobody knew where we're supposed to be. So we're trying to lobby for music to get into gender, so that we have one office where everything can be done. Yes, infrastructure is very important, because artists don't know exactly where to go. When ministries for everything are there, and I go here for this and here, but music doesn't have that. So as UMA, we are lobbying for that to happen.
Okay. Baraka, are you in UMA? Are you a member?
No.
Okay. Why?
Shema point. Okay.
Shema point.
Why are you not a member?
Why am I not a member?
It's not compelling. You don't see a reason as to why.
No offense.
No.
Just be honest,
I've not felt like a reason to necessarily join. Yeah. Okay. So right now I'm still.
As an artist, what are your needs presently? Yeah.
As an artist, what I need.
I'm very interested.
In what sense? Because as a person.
To complement
like,
what you're doing, is the environment in Uganda favorable? Are your fellow artists game with you doing the music that you do? How is the competition? Back in Cindy's days, they would fight, you know, there would be these fights, Bebe Cool, Camilio, and things like that. It doesn't seem to be in your generation. And so how are you navigating the music industry in Uganda? Is it favorable enough to bring out the best for you?
Yeah, I feel like our industry is very, very young, and competition, of course, there's like, you know, but most of the competition is with every artist. The competition is with yourself, what you've accomplished, what you've. So for me, I don't really care about that. I mostly care about what I'm doing. Yeah. Then also, right now, I feel like every place, anywhere you go, is okay, not everywhere, but most places are favorable for an artist because we have access to the internet. You get what I mean? So
It's hard to impress this guy, clearly.
for me,
No, you know why I ask? Because while we speak of the music industry, it's evolving not just in music and genres, but in the people that are coming into the space of the industry. And so we would like to see a place where all are comfortable, you know, of different groups, variety are all comfortable, and at least enjoying the bare minimum of the industry. But in relation, talking about the influence of politics in the industry, and Kagwa, you've been very analytical on covering the politics of the industry. So first of all, talk to us about the politics internally within the industry itself, and then the influence of governing politics over the industry. It seems to be holding it handicapped than giving it the freedom to fly.
You know, one of the stories that are coming out in the Daily Monitor this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, is a story I did on this industry and politics. And this industry is already married with politics. One, for starters, everyone that's watching needs to know that music and politics have always been married. Like, that's something you cannot separate. Like, music can make a system irrelevant even without political lyrics, but they can just make a system irrelevant. But in regards to your question, which I don't remember,
the politics within the industry and then the governing politics over the industry.
yes, the politics within the industry. 2017 happened. After 2017 happened,
It changed everything.
yeah, it changed everything. People started looking at the industry different. You know, it's one thing to know these people have the power over people, and another thing to know what they can do with the power. In 2017, most people got to notice what the artists can do with their power. And I could say it changed the
For
music.
those that don't know what happened in 2017, they're asking what happened in 2017.
On June 29th, Bobby Wine won the election in 2017, the election of Chadondo East. And I could say he became the very first active artist to get into parliament. People had gotten into parliament when they were artists, but most of them had retired and they were no longer active. This was a person who I think even performed a week before he went to parliament. And then when he got to parliament, he did not stop performing. He continued releasing music, which made him some sort of a double threat. And so the fate of music and politics was kind of sealed. So at the moment, even the politics within the music has lines that are clearly drawn. Because I still remember I conducted a debate between them when they were doing the women elections, and you could hear the undertones. People would be like, that one is sponsored by so and so.
Yes, true.
I know you remember that.
Yes, I do.
So at the moment we have an industry that's already divided by color, by personalities,
Tribes.
Like, we literally have an artist who very many people in positions of power within the different organizations of music.
Which brings me to the president here. Those divisions are actually causing a lot of confusion, not just for the artist or the organization, the association itself, but also for the consumers of the music. It doesn't help that there's also many associations that you know, build into this conversation. So draw us the line between the legalities of the existence of your association and the one that has been created recently. We are confused.
Well, UMA has been here for 7 years now. We are definitely legal in every sense of the word. I mean, we are open to, you can find us everywhere. You know, it's not a secret or anything. But the new associations that have come up in the federation are yet to get to that level. The whole industry, we're looking at them like, okay, like what is happening. It's what they're doing is what we've been wanting to do for a very long time. I think you know that. We've wanted to federate the whole industry, like writers and singers, I mean, and singers and bands. So that we all, you know, at a certain point, we get to talk about our issues, because we realize, especially in the lockdown, that we have these issues with each other. The producers, you know, inside have these grievances against the artists against the promoter. So we really want to federate, but we want the federation to be legit, to be the things that we want it to be. So we are at that level. People need to understand that the people who are doing all these things, including me when I started 2 years ago, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I needed to do, but I knew that I wanted to help the industry, but I didn't know how. So when I sat in my seat, when I started to understand, okay, there's this problem, can we start here and there? And so the federation is new. They are young, amazing people, very smart people, but they still don't know what they're supposed to do. And we are all watching them and giving them time to get into it, and then we will.
All right,
we will join.
Just to say something, when you asked him earlier if he's part of the association, and he said no. I'm not part of the journalism association, and maybe just say something. It's most of the reasons why people do not join associations or do not see the need to join associations is at times you need someone to tell you just one cause that they cannot do for themselves. For instance, when UMA was being formed, the earlier days, when they first came together, and the very first slogan was Save Ugandan Music.
Yes, true.
Because there was
Nigerian
a lot of
music
Nigerian
was taken
music
over
on the airwaves.
Yes.
And trust me, for me,
so that was
even if it's today,
yes,
I would still be
started.
passionate about that cause because it's very achievable, and not a single person can achieve it on themselves. Copyright is good. It's good to chase copyright, but at the end of the day, say, Cindy, you can just decide to register with PRISC, the Kenyan Collecting Society, and you wouldn't have to hustle with Uganda.
I understand.
So most of the artists today are looking for that one thing probably UMA or the federation can give them. That's beyond copyright. And maybe they are not seeing it.
Well, again, we're opening kind of worms, you know, understand, because when you bring in the original mandate for the association and what it's presently doing, that explains why there's a lot of misunderstandings left, right, and center. But the one thing we understand is that you have a concert coming up.
I do.
A good battle coming up.
I do.
Talk to us about that.
We're about to make history.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's the first female battle in the music industry. The way I look at it is it's an inspiration for the women. I look at it as a business part of things. It's not a personal thing. I want people to know that me and Shiba are not physical enemies. You understand? Like if we met, we talk. Yeah, like especially when issues with the federation and associations, we actually sit at the table and we talk. But it's a good thing for business. It's going to uplift the industry. It's going to encourage women. It's going to be an amazing show for the audience. That's what we're looking at.
All right, details for the show?
Yes, 15th of September. We're going to be at Kololo.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, make sure that you secure your ticket, which will be at how much?
30K and 100,000.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no VVIP.
There's a table for 3 million.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Kagwa, you have had Barack. We count in the 3 million category. Well, thank you so much for having given us your time and given us enlightenment in the evolution of the music industry and its future. We'll take a short breather. We'll be returning shortly.